Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel Learn at Cloud Analytics. When working with our projects in real time, we often deal with different date requirements. So in this video, I am going to explain about one of the most frequently used real-time scenario where we'd like to find if the given date is a working day or if it's not a working day. In other words, if the given date is a business working day or if it's a holiday. Hi, I'm Sailaja, and if you like this video, please hit the like button and subscribe to my channel. So here in this video, I have already so this is the final uh, data what we'd like to achieve. So as you see here, we have a data from different data sources. So I will explain the data set as well. But for this moment, let's try to understand what I'm trying to achieve. So we have taken two different data sets, one being the superstore data set and the other data set being the holiday list for that particular year. Okay, because the when we try to calculate whether the given day is a working day or not, right? So there are different criteria on which we have to classify this. The first thing being that how do we classify that being a working or a non-working day? So the first thing is we need to identify if that day is falling on a weekend or if it's a weekday, right? So that would be the first criteria, followed by if that particular day is a bank holiday or if it's not a bank holiday. And then we would need to combine both these conditions to arrive at this particular final solution to know whether that particular day is a working day or a non working day. Okay, so these are the three different steps that I would be working on during this particular demo. And coming to the data set that I've used in this particular demonstration, I have taken Superstore data set and I've also taken the list of bank holidays from the Google website, and that data I have translated that into an Excel spreadsheet, and then I've tried to connect to that data set. And on top of that particular data set, I've tried to do some data transformations using Power Query Editor. Now, once I do the transformation as needed for my requirement, then I try to do the data modeling by specifying the data model condition between those two tables, and then we will go ahead and create the logics that is needed for us to arrive at to know whether that particular day is falling on a working day or if it's a non-working day. Okay, so without any delay, let's get into the demo part. So I will open a new workbook. So this is my new workbook and I've already connected to my Superstore dataset, which is my orders table. And now before I even connect to the other bank holiday dataset, I would like to go through that particular columns, what is available in my bank data. So this was the data that I've copied from my website where it projected about the different bank holidays for the specific state. So I've chosen AP as a state from India. And as you see, we have three different columns from this particular data set. The first column being the date, and followed by the day and the occasion. So which is the reason behind the bank holiday, right? And if you notice the date column, right, so the dates are not complete enough, so it is just holding the month followed by the day uh, along with this particular value. So now let's quickly connect to this particular data set within Power BI, and let's do some transformations as it is required. So I'll just quickly close this particular Excel and I'll go to this Excel workbook to connect to that particular data set. And now I'll just select this particular table sheet 1, and instead of loading this data, I will hit on transform data. The reason behind this, as you have seen earlier in my data set in the Excel, the date has been provided in the structure of month followed by the day. And if you notice here, the moment I try to connect within Power BI, the data has been misinterpreted in a different format. And this is not exactly how it has been captured in my actual data source. So therefore, there is a need to correct this data structure and have that integrated within my data model. So for that reason, I'm going to hit on this transform data. Now, when I hit on this transform data, I would be navigated to my Power Query editor where I can make the ETL transactions. Like whatever transformations that is needed on top of my data, we can do that in this particular Power Query editor. Now, quickly, I would like to rename this particular table sheet 1 to bank holiday list. Pick bank holidays. Now, the other transformation that I would like to focus on here on this data is if I notice the date, right? So the date is not well structured. So I would need to first split this particular column in order to have the right format arrive. So for that reason, I would select this particular column, date column, and go to the split column and say split by the delimiter. Okay, and I choose the delimiter as custom and by hyphen, and I would also say that split at each occurrence of the delimiter and then hit on OK. Now if you notice, the date column has been split into three different columns, right? Now I do not need this first column because it has the uh, wrongly added a month or the day as one, so which is no longer needed. So I'll just remove this particular column. Now I have the other two columns on which the first column is nothing but your this is your respective. Okay, before that I think let's do this particular transformation. Okay, so let's try to split this particular column and I'll explain why I've done that. Okay, so I'll say split by the number of characters to the extreme by the right side, two characters. Okay, now, sorry. So now if you notice, so this column is nothing but the day of that particular month. Okay, so this is the day of that particular month. So for that reason, I will quickly rename the other day column name from day to weekday so that it is easier, and this as the day. Okay, so this is my day, and then this column which is having 20, this is not relevant for me, so therefore I will just remove this particular column. And then the other column that we have here is this is nothing but our month column, so I will just rename this to as month. Okay, so now we have month and the day, but we do not have the year column included in this particular data set, right? So what I would do here is I will try to add a new column. So for that, I will go to this add column ribbon on the top and select this custom column. And here I'll give this column name as year and specify the custom column formula as 2018. Okay, and then hit on OK. Now if you notice, for the entire column the data has been updated to the year as 2018. So I'll just structure this to the first place so that it's easier for me to illustrate this particular values. Okay, so I think everything seems to be fine. So we have the year, month, and day, and within Power BI, I can then use a calculated column to integrate all these three to convert that into a date column. Okay, but before that, I'd like to change this data type from ABC to whole number. Okay, so now everything seems to be fine. So this data type is fine, and as well the month and day is fine, and yeah, so now I will try to save and close this particular changes, and then I will come back to my Power BI. So within my Power BI desktop, now I'll try to expand this bank holidays table. And now if you notice, these columns which we've now transformed or made the transformations within Power Query Editor had been considered to be as a a metric value or a measure value, and therefore you see that has been projected as an aggregated measure, right? So we do not need these columns to be aggregated or summarized. So for that, I will just select this particular column and go to the summarization and specify not to summarize that particular column. So similarly for month, I'll say don't summarize, and for year as well, not to summarize. Okay, so now we have this in a right format. So now what I would try to do is I will create a new column and call this column as bank holiday date, and I will use the function as year, sorry, yeah, year, and the date as this year, comma, month, comma, date. Um, Let me check. Oops, sorry. So it should have been a date. Okay, so my bad. Yeah. So what we've been trying to do here is we wanted to uh, concatenate the day, month, and year columns together and translate that into a date column. So therefore, I'm using this function called date, and I'm passing these three parameters like year, month, and day, which we have got from the transformations layer. Okay, and then I'll hit on OK. Okay, so now we have this bank holiday date. Okay, so you notice, so we have this bank holiday date being updated. So I'll just remove this hierarchy, and now you see we have the dates coming up as needed. All right, so now, so this is coming as a datetime a function. So what I'd like to do here is I'd like to convert this from datetime to date, because I don't need to work on any time intelligence transactions or transformations. So therefore, I've just removed that from date time to date data type. All right. So now that we have the proper bank holiday date being transformed, now the next part is that we would have to uh, model this two tables together. So for that, I will go to this model view, and if you notice here, we have these two tables, right? Orders and the bank holidays. Now, I would like to join these two tables, right? So for that, I'm using this bank holiday date and the order date so that I can use these two tables together. And this would obviously become a one to many relationship or the one to many cardinality. The reason behind is that the orders table is a so within my orders table, I have multiple order dates. So there could be different customers who have placed the orders in different dates, right? So therefore, the order dates are having multiple events. And whereas in my bank holiday table, these bank holiday dates are unique. So they are always one single date value that have been provided. So for that reason, we have the cardinality being identified as one to many relationship. Okay, so now that we have this one to many relationship being added on this particular two tables, now we can filter the data together. So now I'll go back to the report view, and let's try to focus on our requirement, which is to find out whether the given date, which is my order date, is a working day or a non-working day. So for that, like I said, the three criteria that we have to follow is, first we need to identify if that particular date is a weekday or a weekend. Okay, so for that we will create a column here. So on my orders table, I'll just say new column, and I will try to rename this column to is weekend. Okay, so I've given the name as a is weekend, and then I'll write a condition like if um, so I'm going to use this function called weekday. If a weekday of on my order date, so we are trying to find this on my order date column, right? So therefore I'm trying to parse this date column as order date, and followed by the return type I'm giving it as to, because I wanted to translate this particular the weekdays categorized from Monday as being 1 and Saturday being 6 and Sunday being 7, and therefore I'm just returning the type to 2, and wanted to verify if this is falling above 5 or not. So if it is 5, then true, else false. Okay, now I'll hit on enter. Now I'll try to, okay, so I'll try to bring in my order date. Yeah, and I'll remove this bank holiday date. Yeah, so we have this order date, and then I'll try to add this is weekend, so that we come to know whether that particular day is falling on a weekend or if it's a weekday. Okay, and then the next thing that we need to do is we need to find out if that particular day is falling on a bank holiday. So for that, again we'll create another calculated column, a new column, recalling by the name as is bank holiday. Okay, and then I'll use the if condition again, and is blank related on. So our column name is bank holiday date. Okay, so I'm choosing this, and then I'm saying false and true. Okay. So I'll explain this calculation here, what we are trying to derive. So here we are trying to calculate or find out whether that particular day is falling on a bank holiday or not. So in order to do that, I would need to compare that particular date to that relevant date, right? So therefore, I'm using this related dax function to relate that particular date to bank holiday date from my bank holidays table. And then I'm saying if that particular day, if it is a blank or if it is not a blank value, right? So if it is a blank value, then it means that it is a holiday, right? And if it is not, then it is not a holiday. So therefore in that case we can just compare these two dates together. So we are trying to compare our order date and our bank holiday date. Okay, and then we are trying to understand if that date is falling on a bank holiday or not. Now let's try to apply this particular column onto our viz. So if you see on this table, we've been able to understand if that particular day is a holiday or not. So if you notice, Jan 14th is a holiday, and therefore 15th is also a holiday, but 15th is not a weekend. Okay, so now the next criteria is which is satisfying both a weekend and a bank holiday, because either if the day is falling on a weekend or if it is a bank holiday, it will never be a working day. So therefore the next goal for us to derive is whether it's a working day or not, right? So for that, let's create another calculation to combine these two conditions together and give it a name as is working day. Okay, so for this we will use this if condition and or to logically verify if the given two dates are falling on a working day or a non-working day. So for that, I'll use bank holiday, this bank holiday, and the other one is the weekend, this weekend. Okay, and then I'll say not working day or it will be a working day. Okay, so here what we are trying to do is we are passing these two columns, which is a bank holiday and a weekend columns together within my or logical statement, stating that if if the particular day is falling either on a bank holiday or if it is on a weekend, then we say that it is a not working day. And if it is not falling on either of those 2 days, then we say that that particular day is a working day. So that is the uh, uh, that is the logic behind this particular expression. Okay, so now let's try to bring up this logic onto our table and see whether it's a working day or a non-working day. Okay, so now you see, so these 2 days are not working day, you see. So let's see if that particular day is falling on which particular day. So Jan 6th and 7th, right? So I'll just open our calendar and 2018. So I'll go to 2018 and Jan. So now, if you notice, so Jan 18th, right? So Jan 6th and 7th. So if you see, Jan 6th and 7th are the weekend. So Saturday and Sunday. And similarly, 13th and 14th. So 13th and 14th is also falling on Saturday and Sunday, right? And here 13, 14 and 15 are not working days. So which means that Monday is a holiday, probably it is a bank holiday, and therefore it is showing as a not working day. See, it is a bank holiday, right? So in this way we are able to derive whether that particular day is a working day or a non-business work day. So this is how we can derive this logics together as per your requirement. And just to give a recap on what we've done so far, so if in a real time scenario, whenever you work in a project, you've been asked to find out, or there is a requirement to identify if that particular day is falling on a um, business working day or if it is a holiday. For that reason, what we've done here is to arrive at that logic. First, we need to verify if that particular day is falling on a weekend, and then we also try to find out if that day is falling on a public holiday. And then we are trying to combine both these two different conditions together to meet the expectation of verifying if that particular day is a business work day or a non working day. Okay, and for these three things we have used some if clause statements within this columns, and we've derived that particular expression. And for this particular requirement, I have used this Power Query editor and also done some data modeling to arrive at a requirement. So I hope you understood this particular real-time scenario to understand whether the given date is a bank holiday or a working day, or if it is a business working day or a non-working day. So if you do like this video, please do like, share and subscribe, and do not forget to hit on the bell icon for notifications. Thank you.